Hello, welcome to Woodline Tracking. Question for you. Do you have a communication plan to communicate with your loved ones in your tribe or community when cell phones and the internet goes offline? Do you? Do you have a plan? Do you know how to do it? I'm not talking if you have a radio and you have some gear, but can you use it? One of the biggest problems I see out of the prepper and 2A community is radio comms, having it but have no idea how to use it. That is an issue because there is a major learning curve in using a radio properly and making it successful. A lot of times people get frustrated because they do not know how to use it or what they're even doing with it. And again, you don't want to be in a crap pixel fan situation and trying to figure all this out. So it's best to have a radio plan now so everybody knows what frequencies to use and the SOPs of doing it. In our handbook here, we go into a whole chapter on radio, local radio, VHF and UHF, on how to make local communications, how to avoid being tracked, what are the SOPs, standard procedures, how does it work, everything that you need to know in our handbook of the chapter. And if you order the handbook, we will throw in our recommendation on the gear that we'll be talking about is what you should buy, where you can buy it. So let's get on. It's not if, it's when the internet and cell phone services will go down. And trust me, you want communications. So we're going to walk you through an outline of a plan so you can try to make a plan for your family and loved ones. First of all, we recommend you have a base station, a 50-watt base station. Next, you need to make sure you have 2 handheld units, 5 watts. All right. Antennas is the key. Antenna means everything. You need a house antenna for your base station, and you want to put this up the highest that you can get it to make comms. Because why you want a base station is you want that when you have a base station up high, put on 50 watts, it makes it easier for the handhelds to make communication. So like if you go into town, the loved one can take a handheld and reach back to your base station, you can have comms up. It's 2 handhelds, your range can be very limited doing Semprex, not using a repeater. So, but a base station makes a big difference. Now again, mountains and terrain makes a difference, but as long as you are reasonably flat, there's no reason why you can't have good comms in your local community with your handhelds or base stations. Okay, next thing you want is you want to make sure you get 2 good antennas for your handhelds. For each one have a good 18-inch antenna. Then you want 2 little antennas. That will be explained to why you want them in our handbook of how not to be detected. Okay? Then you want a car mount antenna to put up on your car so you can have comms as you're driving around back to your base station. Then you would want a J-pole, a roll-up J-pole that you can throw up a tree to make comms if you're out in the field and these aren't getting it, okay? You want one of them. So those are basic antennas that you should have and get to be successful. Next thing you want to make sure is on VHF, you have a primary frequency that you use for Semprex and an alternate frequency you would use. For UHF, you would want for Semprex a primary channel and an alternate channel for you and your tribe and your family members to make comms. You also will want to have at least 3 repeaters programmed into your base station and your handhelds that you have hit, and that everybody knows you use these 3 repeaters, 1, 2, and 3. What's a primary repeater, and then 2 other ones that you can connect and that can repeat and give you farther range. Okay? And that takes time to practice this, and you should download off of my repeaters online or someplace and get all the repeaters in your state so you have them in paper form so you can start trying out and see which ones you can hit so you're not guessing and crap hits the fan. Or you because you got to get your tones right and your offsets all right, so it'll take some effort, all right? Next thing you want to do is you want some SOPs. What would you do if this happens? There is no cell phone communications. What channel are we going to use as the primary channel out of all these or repeaters? How are you going to do that? Set all that up. Next is check-in times. All right, you're a day or two into it. Your community, your tribe, you should have a check-in time at least one time a day that everybody checks in on a frequency or repeater. You should have all that laid out and a plan to do all that. And DMR, digital mobile radio. After you get all this done, it's a good idea to look into DMR and figure out how that works, because that can give you some advantages over analog in certain things. So I urge you, own it. Go get your license so you can practice all this, because just owning this and owning an antenna and even having our handbook without practicing it and knowing how it works, you're on the right frequency, you have the right tones, you have all that set up, won't do you no good in a crap hits the fan situation. Because it's going to happen and nobody's coming to save you. You can find our handbook, and we also offer a class on this right now on our webpage, woodlinetracking.com. Come take a class. We go over the basics of radio and radio plans. Remember, time may go on, but your life may not.